Welcome back to another video, and today I'm answering a question that if you would ask me, should my brother, should my uncle go to audio school? And I have to say it's a very personal question if you get down to it. I couldn't say yes or I couldn't say no to everyone. Like, it's not something you should generalize. That's the first layer of the question. I'm going to talk about my experience. So it was very hard for me to decide to go study something. And if it wasn't a very relaxed schedule, it was only once a week. And at the beginning, it was only one day of 8 hours or 7 hours. So, and I could go play with the band on the weekends and I could work the rest of the week. So it was it was okay. So I had an employer who was cool with me going on tour, which was amazing. And I found myself in this kind of rut. So I had the band, and the bands we were touring a little bit, and I had this part-time job who was okay with me going on tour. And I am very bored very fast. So I had this situation going on for half a year when I realized, okay, I have to do something. I have so much free time and I want to learn a new skill. And I do not always forever want to work in a part-time job where I get paid 10 euros an hour to lift heavy shit out of trucks. And so, of course, I decided to become an audio engineer. And as well, my family wanted me to have some sort of degree, and they were very kind in helping me out with the financial situation. So I went to an institution called Deutsche Pop, which is now established in Australia, in Holland, in Austria, and all over Germany. It's basically something like SAE, but at around half the price, and less crowded, less hyped. And I kind of did 3 mini degrees and 1 audio engineer degree, which was the audio assistant, audio technician. And there's this term called Tonmeister in Germany, which is the tone master, if you would translate it, or audio master, which is not a master's degree. This was not a proper university degree, but rather a diploma. So I had very cool professors or mentors, or however you would call them, lecturers, and I learned a lot. So in the first half year, all the basics of audio, which you do not necessarily, you can definitely learn everything online. You can crush everything, learn the business side, learn the engineering side, and learn everything online without going to any institution. And it's the best way to start, to see if you actually are interested in this. So I was interested in this. I tried to produce my own music for 10 years. And when I started playing guitar, I had this little shit interface and I tried to produce something. I played with the first drum computers, but I always sucked, right? Because I couldn't get myself to learn. Like, I cannot sit down and learn something. I always have to do stuff. That's why I quit school early. So the first half year was all the basics, all the audio basics, where the learning progression curve was like this, which is learning all the different types of microphones, learning about all those different types of microphones, like what is a cardioid? Was it super cardioid? Was a hybrid cardioid? What's an omnidirectional mic? Understanding all those technical terms to really learn the whole toolkit to, for example, record a whole drum kit. The best thing I learned in the whole thing on the technical side was how to record a drum kit, because it's very complicated, and understanding a little bit of the anatomy of a drum kit, and that every little piece of the drum kit has its own sonic footprint. So all the things, all the screws and all the heads and everything builds this one unique sound, which was very good because I didn't do a lot at home. Like when we got the first homework, which was I remember it being I don't know what the English term is. Let's call Google. It was the comp filtering effect. And these were pretty much one of the few homework stuffs I did. I really did. And when I did homework, when I was interested in the homework, I obsessed with it. Like when there was mixing homework to do or production homework, I really liked it. When there was research to do, I didn't do anything. And because of sometimes we would go on shows on Thursdays and return on Mondays, so I wouldn't go to to audio school on Thursdays. And sometimes I wouldn't even go even if I was in Cologne because I just wasn't interested in the subject. So I did it all for this piece of paper, and after the first half year, and it was fun. I learned a lot, even though I had to delete all the knowledge after audio school I had about mixing, because I started to mix for other people, and the workflow I learned in audio school was not at all compatible to, or not at all adaptable to working with clients, for me at least. So especially in mixing, and you learn the way of the tutor who is teaching you. You're learning his workflow, and especially in mixing, it's so everyone is working completely different. For example, I'm working top down. In audio school, they told us not to work top down, which is you mix into a mastering chain. So every time I mix, I already hear the finished master. So if you don't have to collect debt, and it's kind of a part-time arrangement, especially if you're in Central Europe, and you want to go in these kind of private studies such as SAE, Deutsche Pop, and you don't have to go into debt, I definitely encourage people to go there, go into a learning environment 1 or 2 days a week. You will survive, and just really learn the audio basics, because the real basics of signal flow and all the electronics you could adapt are really important for you to understand everything that's going on top. So I'm very thankful for that. And after that, a lot of people leave. I didn't leave because I paid for everything up front. So I went whenever I liked the subject. And when it came to the final exams, I learned a little bit, and it turned out just fine. So in conclusion, there's no be-all, end-all answer to that. And there's no be-all, end-all answer to should you go study in general. I think you have to decide in our society way too early if you should go. And I decided to do that when I was 25. And I already had another way of education behind me, and I had a little bit to decide. I did a little bit of traveling. I been on tour with the band, and I had all of these different influences that brought me to this decision. So this is my take on should you go to audio school. You really have to decide what you want. And you can learn a shit ton for recording. But what you do not learn is the business side of it. No one tells you about how to make money, how to get new clients, how to talk to bands, how the psychological side of being a producer, the psychological side of talking to people. Of course, there's a little bit of that, like don't be an asshole, or the singer will not be happy, which is be nice to artists. But getting into this, you are probably an artist yourself, so you know how to talk to yourself as an artist, and you can talk to other people. Like the empathetic and business side comes a little bit too short, and there's not much of an employment going on after this, so you are pretty much on your own. And if you're lucky, you will you can land theater jobs and nothing. Like if you're looking for rock and roll, you pretty much have to learn how to run a business at the same time because no one's telling you. That's the major downside of going to audio school. So yeah, if you are in the same situation, you're a musician, you're thinking about going to audio school, it's probably not what you think it is, but you can learn a lot. And if there's an institution like that in your area or in your city, just go there for a day. Usually they let you sit in for a day and you can see how it fits your taste of education. So if you've got more questions about going to audio school, about my experiences, let me know in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.